everybody, I am testing YouTube live stream out with my P17. Hopefully you have a good picture. I have a lot of bright lights on. Sometimes the lighting makes the piece look really washed out. But I'm testing because I want to see how it works. I usually do my live streams on Facebook, and I don't know how well this is going to work, but I'm going to start trying to do some on YouTube. Just demonstrating how I get all these skin tones, how I get them all nice and smooth, and how I draw with my Polychromos pencils. I'm using Stonehenge paper by Legion paper, and hopefully you can hear me. I've had to position my phone for live stream in a kind of a precarious way, so I can't really see the YouTube channel right now. I can only see what I'm drawing. So hopefully this is all working out, but if not, it's a good test, and you guys can leave comments and let me know, like if the picture is really bad, or if it's not coming across HD, or if, I don't know how this works. I don't know if it just goes HD after I'm done, or while I'm drawing, or I don't know. So I'm testing it out, kind of as a new platform, a place to go and share my drawing in progress and step-by-step that I go to get it done. Sometimes I do on Facebook, but this is nice because it can actually stay on my channel, and I can not have to stress. You're going to hear a sharpener real loud. Use an electric sharpener, but it's nice because then it can stay on my channel, and so that's why I'm going to start trying to do some live stream on YouTube. And I have Olive behind me, so you can hear some background bird noise, I'm sure, because she's very noisy. Right now she's kind of being entertained, and she's in her little cage, a portable cage, so she can be close to me and not scream at me for her attention. So she's actually behind me, my Kaik parrot. She's eating, so I don't know how the noise and all that level picks up in the room, so you may hear her, just so you know. I'm working on a base coat, which is very, very light coat, the first layer of the skin tones on this part of her face. Even the part that I've done up here is not finished. This area has a lot more layering and smoothing to do, and it changes as I go, because as I start bringing in the darker areas, the hair around her face, it's going to start making this look even lighter than it is. So what will happen is, as I build up the outside areas, the hair and the dark background areas that are going to be really dark in here, the shadows, it's going to make this piece look very washed out. And then I'll be going back over all of it with like dark flesh and light purple and building up colors to make it more vibrant, because although it looks pretty vibrant right now on my paper, there's so much white around it. It's deceiving, and it's vibrant compared to the white background, but whenever I get all the dark blonde hair and all the dark shadows in her hair and flowers and things around her, it will definitely not look as vibrant. So even though it looks finished, I know there's going to be more layering done. There's going to be more shadows. It's going to get darker and more vibrant as I move along. So this is kind of like the first probably 3 layers of her face, and expect that before the piece is done, I'll have another couple of complete layers over her whole face again. But I have my iPad reference to the left over here, and I'm just looking at the iPad photo that I took of my daughter Evie laying on our front porch with flowers that I was about to plant in the garden, and I posed them all around her and took her photo. And one of them is going to be an oil painting, size 36 by 48, but this one is going to be a color pencil. Obviously, I'm working on it with color pencil. It's going to be 22 by 26, so it's a pretty large piece. This is only, you know, you can see it's only about 4 inches wide, her face, and the rest of the portrait is her dress and her arms laying across her chest or her stomach, and then her hair and all of the flowers. So it's going to be a large piece, but the piece is going to be only a very small portion. Is going to be her face, and then we have the rest is going to be detail in the fabric and the floral design of her skirt, and the floral arrangement around her. So the face takes me the longest because, you know, it's the most important. You really have to have it look like the person, and also be very, very careful to smooth all these skin tones. Now I'm making a very, very light touch, if you're wondering. Sometimes I squeeze my pencils way too tight and it looks like I'm pressing really hard, but I'm making extremely light layers. And I'll have to go back over and smooth these layers as well. But I'm just looking closely at the reference photo, and I probably look at my reference photo about every 1 to 2 seconds. And then I just start building up the color where I need it. And the basic skin tone, her light skin, takes, I would say, about 4 to 5 colors to get the right colors of her skin tone, but it's a process of building up, and it's sometimes it's 4 or 5 colors in a light area, and then it's another different 4 or 5 colors in a darker shadow area. So I have to look really closely and, you know, make sure I'm capturing those colors. The video camera, I've tried to put it straight. My phone I've tried to put straight in front of the piece, but it's a little bit tilted, so it's kind of at an angle. It's hard to tell, but I am drawing with little oval strokes. You can see I'm doing these little oval strokes. I don't know if you can tell that they're oval or not, so that's why I'm mentioning that. And I have a very sharp Polychromos pencil. Right now I'm using the medium flush. But just because there is a medium flush and a dark flush and those colors that are called flesh does not mean that those are the main colors that I use for her skin. They do, sometimes I'll draw a piece without using medium flesh, even though the person has medium flesh. So I'm just having to mix the colors based on what I see in the reference and continue with these very light layers. In the beginning, it looks very sketchy. I guess sketchy is the term. It's very kind of rough, and if you were to zoom in and look close or have a big screen, you would see that it's kind of like, you can see the texture of the paper, and it's not very smooth. And that's okay for these underneath layers that I'm making, because I will smooth it all out with different pencils after I get the color and my value right. So right now I'm just working on color and value, building that up in this area of the face and her skin. You still need to go darker in this area here, and as I bring in the dark around her face, it's going to make this look, like I said, less vibrant and less accurate color. So just kind of laid it out a little bit right now with this this color tone, but I know that's going to change. There's going to be more purple hues coming into this shadow right here on the side of her face. So it's just a slow process of building up. And I'll just keep building up until I think it looks like my reference photo. So I hope this YouTube video is actually live streaming, because I can't really see what's happening on the screen. I've just set it up and said go live. So I hope it's actually working properly. I'm pulling a couple of different colors to capture that shadow. And hopefully the sound quality is good. Like I said, I'll once I'm done with this live stream, I'll come back in and verify and take a look at it all and see what I need to do differently for the next time I do a live stream. It could be that these really bright lights really mess up the values. It looks very washed out. I know when I try to photograph it, it'll get a very washed out look. The reason I have a piece of tape on this pencil is because this pencil is called Light Violet, and Polychromos or Faber-Castell no longer makes this pencil. And when I was teaching on Patreon, which I am not doing right now because I need to finish some artwork and a big commission that's coming up, so I am not actually going to have time to do Patreon for a while. That's why I thought when I'm drawing I'll do some live streams occasionally for people to kind of join in and watch. But this pencil is discontinued, and when I was teaching, I wanted to remember that this tape here and remind me to talk to people about the fact that you can't get this pencil anymore through Faber-Castell. So if you ever see it anywhere, grab it. You'll never be able to get it again. definitely are going to want it because I love it. It's extremely light fast. It's one of the highest light fast quality pencils in the set, and it is a great color. I'm just not sure why it was discontinued. Maybe they're just trying to keep it to 120. I don't know, but I absolutely love this pencil, and this color is perfect for light shadows. You can still do the same kind of thing with the purple violet, but I don't have to think as much about it whenever I'm using this color because it really does lay down very light and just adds that nice purpley hue to the shadows, which there's a lot of in her skin tone. So I'm kind of using that to start pulling in some of the purples. The skin tone is a combination of colors, and I have to just look at every little piece as I go. And this little strip here is left because there's going to be a piece of hair going across her face and some shadows around that. So that's why it's like that. But anyway, this is just a very, very slow process. I think I've spent about 8 to 9 hours so far on this section, another hour or so that I've been working here. So we're talking about, 10, 15 hours for a 5-inch square, maybe altogether, 5-inch square, something like that. So it's tedious and it's time consuming, but it's really fun, and I really love color pencils. And I will do oils and acrylics and love them too, but every now and then I'm just like, I can't stop doing color pencils. It's so fun for me to be able to do work on all the details, very tiny, minute details you can't get when you're working with oils and acrylics or paint medium. And so to me, this is like very addictive. It's hard to move to other mediums. So anyway, just a little bit of me, and I'm recording this entire process also on my camcorder, so I can go back and make a time-lapse video because I want to be able to know exactly how many hours I spent, and that's like no better way to know than going back on you're looking at your film and cutting out all the areas where, cutting out the part where you were talking or taking a break, or sometimes the camera will keep going while I'm sharpening a pencil or keeping a pencil. I mean, that all counts towards time of doing it, but that's not what I count. I count actual drawing time. So even though that you have to add probably 5 hours to that because there's still, searching for the right pencil, or which I don't do a lot of because I have them pretty close to me and easy to get to. But there's a lot of other time that goes into it besides the actual drawing part, but that's the part that I like to record and find out, how much time did I spend on this piece. Helps me price my pieces, helps me just know if I'm speeding up, how fast I'm going, because I do get faster as time goes on. It gets easier for me. I don't have to really think as much about what I'm doing or what color to use. It just kind of comes naturally, and I pull those colors out really quickly without much thought that goes into it, which really changes your speed. So that's helpful to have that. Let's see. To have that skill, and where I got that skill, basically just doing it so much. It's like you just automatically kind of know what colors you're going to use. And it's a build up to get to those colors. So you'll see me lay something down and it might look really purpley or too blue or too orange, and it's a matter of putting them all down and getting them layered and then blending and smoothing them together. Now I do not use any solvents or other blending methods or any blending pencils or blending tools. I only use Polychromos color pencils. Sometimes I'll use a different pencil, especially if there's a color I'm looking for. There's a few Pablo pencils that by Caran d'Ache that I really love, and you'll see me pull a few of those in sometimes. So anyway, so when you're watching this, you'll see how it gets kind of grainy. That graininess will completely be gone when I'm done layering for color and value, but I can't be worried about smoothing it while I'm working on the value and colors. All I'm trying to do right now is really match the color tones and the depth, getting the darkest values accurate, not too dark, not too light. And once those are all built up, I'll go back and smooth it using a smoothing technique that I use, which is basically using a lighter colored pencil to go on top of the darker color, and that will kind of start to blend and soften, and it kind of almost erases your pencil lines, which makes it really nice and smooth. So, but all of this is super slow going, and every time I get a pencil, then I realize, I see that color popping out more here, so it starts to get more intense as I go along. All of the colors get more accurate, the values get more accurate, and the shadows and shapes get more accurate, but it does take time, a lot of time. So practicing every day for months on end, 40 hours a week, sometimes not sleeping at all, for like 24-hour periods of drawing on the weekends, because back then I was working on my day job as well, and it was just, I had to get everything done, so I would stay up like literally all night and draw, and that's basically how I taught myself to do this as accurately as it is, and I still feel like every time I draw a piece I get a little bit better than I was before. So that's a good feeling, because you know you're still improving. You know, a lot of people think, oh, you've mastered colored pencils, but I don't really think that happens, because as you get older and you've spent more time and you've done more things and drawn more subjects and such, you naturally are going to get better. I mean, I don't think there is a point where you're the best as you can get. I mean, I don't think there's a time when you're not learning or growing or improving your skill, and I hope not, because it's kind of the excitement of continuing to do something you love, is knowing that there's a challenge in front of you and that you can even do it better than you did the last one. I mean, every single piece that I finish, I'm thinking to myself, I could have done that a little better, and maybe I should have done this or that, and now next time I'm going to take more time on it and slow down and do a better job. And a lot of people don't understand that, but really it's true. It's like when I started working, I would see people, their work, and I'd be like, wow, they're so good. I'll never get as good as them, and I'll never be that good. I'll never be able to improve that well. I mean, just in the back of my head, I didn't let myself listen to that, because I kept trying to improve, and I see it in my work improving. I would see it improving all the time, and the better I got, the more I saw those other pieces that I looked up to, thinking they were the most amazing in the world, and I started to see myself actually surpass some of those works, and in my own opinion, and I liked my work. I started actually liking my pieces better than the ones that I looked up to as my mentors, and so I started feeling confident about my work. But still, even so, when I'm done with pieces, often I look at them immediately after or within a few months. Hopefully it lasts a few months before I start going, that's one of my older pieces. I'm much better than that now. I don't want anyone to see it. So sometimes that happens, and you can't help that, because I think as an artist, we're probably our own worst critics. But anyway, I wanted to just try this on YouTube as I continue to build up the colors. I just wanted to give it a little quick live stream and see if it works. I'll go now and in a minute and look back at it and see if anyone saw this, or if it was even working, or if you can even hear me, or the picture is even good. I have no idea, because this is my first live stream on YouTube. And if it works out and it looks great, I'll start getting a little better idea of how and when people want to see it, and how to market it so people know that I'm going to be on, that sort of thing. So hopefully someone watched this. If not, it'll be recorded and you guys can watch it later. Okay. So I'm going to put my pencils down, try to get a little different view of it, and see if that works. So that's it. And the lighting is very bright in here. I don't know if it'll work with the lights off. You get the more natural light from outside. You can see it changes colors. When you do that, it looks completely different. So, okay, well, thanks for watching.